Welcome into the UTRGV Coaches Show. I'm your host, KJ Doyle, joined by UTRGV football head coach Travis Bush after an 80-0 win over the Langston Lions. Congratulations on another win, Coach. That one had to feel good.
Thank you. Yes, always good.
Absolutely. Well, you guys had an incredible performance. I imagine there's maybe not much to say about the second part of this question, but what did you like, what didn't you like from the game?
Just the way our guys attacked it, the way we came out. We talked all week about coming out and kind of finishing off that first quarter of the season undefeated there and having that opportunity. But came out and made some plays early on all three phases. We talked about getting, making some plays on special teams and finally getting our hands on some footballs there on defense. And you saw both of them put those in the end zone in the first quarter. And again, just kind of got a lot of guys in and got some experience there with some guys in the second half.
Who were some of the guys that really stood out to you as top performers from the game? I mean, you mentioned getting your hands on some footballs. We're going to talk about Elijah Graham a lot later. 2 interceptions for him. He had a big night. Yeah,
great job. Reading the quarterback's eyes there on the first one, jumping that pass, but really kind of in a point in the ball game where we needed some momentum. They were doing some things, and they were a scrappy team, and they were moving the ball well at times, and then kind of getting after us there a couple series. Their defense on our offense, so we weren't really putting the ball in the end zone on offense, and we're able to put one there on special teams and come right back and get that pick six on defense, and that really kind of, I think, kick-started the scoring fest after that.
I mean, over 800 total yards of offense, no matter who the opponent is. That blows everybody away. Just what can you say about how you were able to be so effective on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it boiled down. We knew we wanted to attack some things there in the first half. We felt comfortable that we could probably run the ball well, and we rolled a lot of running backs in there in the second half. So you kind of saw we kind of wore them down. We put fresh guys in, and a lot of those backs had some fresh legs and speed, and handed the ball off there most of the second half. But credit to those young men and playing their tails off, and really go back to Brennan Carroll. He had an opportunity to score a couple of touchdowns, but shows him his character there, not making sure that we didn't score too many.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the fake punt already. Probably the biggest play of the game. Let's take a look at it. Break this one down for us and how this all unfolded. You mentioned earlier last night during post-game that it's kind of a check that you guys were able to make at the line.
Yeah, we repped that. We repped it all week, and Tyler has the call. He's the quarterback out there, and he checks us in the right protection. And if they gave us a certain look, we were going to check fake there to numbers, and he saw it. Heck, it was 4th and 7 on our own 30, but he saw it. We had confidence in it, and good thing he didn't trip there when he took off. But hats off to all the guys blocking downfield, and again, him just to finish that off and really give us a huge momentum boost there in the first quarter.
And you mentioned the momentum boost. It really seemed like that did spark a lot of the offense and a lot of the offensive production. Obviously, the picks come after that. It seems like it was just kind of an avalanche from this point on.
Yeah, I think again, they were doing some things defensively and kind of putting some pressure, batted some balls down, but you kind of get a little impatient and antsy there, but we weren't converting. But again, hats off to everybody. Everyone stayed cool early in that game, and just started getting momentum on all three phases there.
Well, the second quarter was a big one following not only the fake punt, but the interceptions as well and everything that came along with it. We're going to talk about that big second quarter for the Vaqueros when we return on the UTRGV Coaches Show. Welcome back into the UTRGV Coaches Show, joined by the head coach of the Vaqueros football team, Travis Bush. Coach, we mentioned the second quarter before we went to break. 31 total points for you guys. Ended up being 52 points in the half. Just everything working for you guys once you got into that second quarter offensively. And Tony Diaz touchdown, we're going to look at that one here. Among the touchdowns you guys were able to score, seemed like that's where you guys really found a rhythm.
Yeah, and they mixed some things up early. They were playing us some man, so we're definitely always going to try to take advantage of that. But they got in his face there, and he converted that to a vertical, and it was actually a run-pass option. And Eddie saw that, and made sure we put that ball up there for him to go get. And him and Zay both can do good things when they're one-on-one out there.
And we're going to break down Xavier Nolan's big plays later on in the show. But Tony Diaz and Nolan both. We mentioned how both can be dynamic, and it seems like 3 straight games, one of them's going off. I know you mentioned last night during the post game. Hopefully you can get a couple games where they both have games like that, and then you'll really be in business.
Yeah, and that's again just trying to. Obviously, their performance speaks for itself, but guys, you want to get the football to. We try to get the ball to. Try to get them the ball more there at times. Again, both of them were limited to to less than a half there playing wise, but again, just proud of their efforts and the progress they've made so far.
And then the running game was great all night long. 500 yards on the ground for you guys. I mean, yeah, you had to be happy with how you guys were able to break off some big chunk plays. 5 different players scoring rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, no doubt that TJ DeMett, he just keeps finding the end zone every week, and solid back for us. Rested Nathan Denny this week, and so a lot of guys got in the game. Even saw a true freshman, Broderick Taylor in there in the fourth quarter, scoring a touchdown. There's Cam Glenn on a reverse of the week. And he's got some speed. He caught his first touchdown pass last night as well. So definitely a lot of guys. Fabian Garcia, he's getting so good as a running back. And saw Javinsky Slimbaker break one there in the third quarter.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys were able to find a lot of different creative ways to get different players the ball. You mentioned the end around there. Find different ways to find seams in the running game. How do you feel like you guys were able to execute those plays well?
It felt good. Felt like, again, we kind of knew could wear them out there in the second half. So, the line, we rolled a lot of guys in there up front too as well. But, just kind of worked our gap schemes. Those things worked well for us in the second half. But again, the backs we rolled in there with the fresh legs, they kept it moving.
And one of the players with one of those rushing touchdowns you just mentioned, Fabian Garcia, he gets into the game. He scores the rushing touchdown in the second quarter. Always has to feel good to get a local kid in the end zone during a home game.
Yeah, and he's one of our top backs. He's a good runner. He runs hard. He's got speed, even for his size. But he does a great job for us, and you'll see him rolling in every week for us.
Yeah, and Fabian, you mentioned it just being one of the top backs. He's really looked well when he's gotten in the game there during these home games, and he's come in and done a couple different things for you guys, whether he's getting the ball in pass protection, going out on routes. It looks like, showing some versatility.
He is. He does. He does a great kind of the total package there. Again, young, just a redshirt freshman, only going to continue to get better each week.
All right, well, when we return, we haven't touched on the leading receiver from the day yet, Xavier Noland, a big game. We've talked a little bit about him, but we're going to check out his plays when we return on the UTRGV Coaches Show. Welcome back into the UTRGV Coaches Show, joined by the head coach of the Vaqueros football team, Travis Bush. Coach, we talked about him a little bit already, but it's time to see the big plays he was able to make in this one. Xavier Noland, he's been a big play specialist for you guys, 2 home games and 2 big games for him. He's been really cooking at Robert Dejana Vacker Stadium. Hope it continues through the course of the rest of the season. But he had some really big plays. Started, of course, with this big touch pass on the first drive.
Yeah, definitely. Again, guys, you want to get on the ball early. So that was an easy way to just get in his hands, let him run. They were going to give us that look and outnumber him there. And heck, he almost popped that to start the game. And then, 2 plays later, just kind of a simple out route, but they got in his face and pressed him, so he converted vertical and ended up in a touchdown.
And we talked about that touchdown. We'll show that right now. Moments later, he gets it on the long pass. It's the exact same way you started the first game of the season,
yeah.
And then same thing in this one, just a long pass to Noland for the touchdown.
Yeah, they got in the face there, so he converted that, and again, goes back to Eddie. Eddie saw it and laid it out there. Does a great job winning one-on-one coverage and ran by him, and it's a great way to start the game.
And we'll see the close-up version of it here right after we see the coach's view of it. But Noland just showing off the speed, able to get behind the defense. And, it's got to feel good for Eddie back there when he sees that much separation.
Yeah.
Just knows he has to throw it up.
Yeah, if we can start every game that way, it would be good. But, definitely he's had 3 good games. Tried to get him the ball a little bit last week, but they did some things to cap him there and cover him. But, again, excited to see what he does when he does get to touch it. Well,
the second touchdown that he had was just as electrifying in the game. Yeah, break this one down for us. Really, what's really impressive about this one is his after-the-catch ability. I mean, he does a nice job tracking this one in the air, but afterwards just runs away from everybody. Yeah, that was a 3rd and extra long there right in the second quarter. And, again, they played man coverage. He took off by him, and Eddie just launched it, kind of outside behind him, kind of the hardest pass to cover. And Xavier did a great job tracking that ball, coming back to it, and then supposedly keeping his feet there and not going down. But, again, just the effort to keep going. Play to the whistle. If you don't hear a whistle, keep playing. And, they reviewed it and said it was a touchdown. And we'll see it one more time here. But him breaking this tackle on this play where he's able to just spin out of this and then go all the way across the field. I mean, the athleticism he shows on this, not only breaking the tackle, but the speed, too. Yeah, he does. He can stop and start faster than most guys I've seen, and does a good job of that. That's really what's helped him, too, getting off some press coverage and being able to burst by some defenders. But, he's exciting to watch. I know Eddie, again, has to feel good about that whenever he has him on the outside, whether it's one of the plays where he burns them or he's able to make after the catch plays like that and he ends up in the end zone, going in the stat sheets as a touchdown. It has to feel good. And it feels like he's building a lot of trust, both with Tony Diaz and Xavier Nolan on the outside.
Yeah, no doubt. And he knows, like, at times like that, he can throw it up there with the confidence that they're going to find a way to get it.
Absolutely. Well, when we return, let's talk about the big plays from the defense. You mentioned the defense finally getting their hands on some footballs, getting some interceptions, 3 in this game. We're going to look at all of those and the big performance from Elijah Graham specifically when we return on the UTRGV Coaches Show. Welcome back into the UTRGV Coaches Show, joined by the head coach of the Vaqueros football team, Travis Bush. Coach Bush, your defense playing so well to start the year, their second shutout, obviously had a really good performance against Prairie View A&M as well. You have to be happy with what you've seen from them so far.
No doubt. Defensive staff does a great job. Great job last night. We knew they were going to throw the football around, and based on what we saw on film, we felt like we would have some opportunities to get our hands on some footballs there defensively. And hats off. Defense did a good job, and then they started moving the ball early. But definitely the things we're concerned about is points per game. Kept them out of the end zone there again. But to see those guys fly around, get some pressure on the quarterback, and come up with some turnovers was huge.
I know you said earlier before the season even started that you saw the signs early on that this defense had the chance to be a successful unit, to be a team that could keep teams off the scoreboard a little bit and frustrate opponents. And it feels like that's kind of started to show itself at least a little bit here in the early going through the first 3 games. Yeah,
frustrates us every day on offense going against those guys for over a year now. So it's kind of refreshing to see them do it to somebody else too. But they do a phenomenal job schematically. Coach Gamble is he's kind of a wizard there on defense. Does a great job. Puts guys in the right spots and really puts them in a position to be successful. And that showed last night. So hats off to them. And again, as long as you're playing good defense, and you got a chance to win.
Well, let's take a look at Elijah Graham. Big performance on the night. Had 2 interceptions. First one here, the pick 6.
Yeah, you can see him. He just kind of spined that quarterback and then just, reads his eyes all the way and gets a jump on that stop route and takes it to the house. Again, big momentum swing there in the first quarter. 7-0 for most of the first quarter, but this pick 6 right after the fake punt touchdown, that kind of really sparked the momentum for us.
And on the pick 6, it seemed like the receiver, if we roll it back, it seemed like the receiver almost turned upfield a little bit, and Elijah, you guys were able to get pressure on the quarterback, and Elijah just read his eyes perfectly, was able to, like you mentioned, undercut the route and, just kind of make the play to get the pick 6, and almost, I don't know if the receiver and quarterback might not have been on the same page, but Elijah read it like a book.
Yeah, we brought that linebacker off the edge, and a lot you can see he's kind of almost breaking hot route, like kind of a side adjust. We'll do the same thing sometimes with blitz, but again, Elijah read that and knew he was going to that guy right now, and so he jumped it and made a great play.
And then the second interception that he had, that's, case right place, right time.
Yep.
Overthrown, goes right to him. He makes a play and great return to set you guys up with good field position.
No doubt, yeah. And they try to sneak it here in the little beater to the boundary, but he spied it, saw it, and picked it off. And then good return. Again, hats off. The things you worry about on returns here are guys hitting in the back and getting penalties, but defensively, all of them did a great job blocking downfield and set us up to get one more right before half.
It feels like Elijah Graham and also Elijah Prosser, it feels like those two guys are becoming leaders for you in the secondary through these first 3 weeks. They've stepped up, they're making big plays week in and week out, and it feels like that unit is kind of being led by those two guys.
No doubt, and doing a good job. And again, playing all across the field. You can see him playing the whole field there, but great vision and did a great job for us last night.
Well, the other man who came up with the interceptions was Logic Hudgens. He makes this play, another overthrow, but this wasn't an easy play to make. There's some contact on this play, but a great job of showing off some body control and getting this INT.
Yeah, just great awareness there. He's actually just fighting off a block, but sees the ball get tipped up there on the tunnel screen and finds a way to track it and hang on to it there at the end.
Not an easy play to make, come away with that one, and obviously once again set you guys up. This was actually moments after the pick 6 from Elijah Graham. So, this is when you guys really started to frustrate that Langston offense. They picked up some 3rd and longs earlier in the first quarter, and then end of the first quarter, it's Elijah Graham getting the interception, and then Logic Hudgens follows that up on almost the very next play within, I think it was about 30 seconds of each other, and that really helped kind of shut down the Langston offense for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that was kind of right at the end of the first, and then we take it in and score early in the second, and then kind of the seconds when it kind of snowballed there for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some great plays from the defense, as you mentioned, finally able to get their hands on some footballs, come away with some interceptions, make some big plays, and hopefully that's able to, get them going for next game against Texas Wesleyan, which we'll touch on in a minute. And I'm sure you love to see that in conference play, too, if they're able to continue up the ball hawking traits that they were able to show tonight.
No doubt. And then, just the game experience, the confidence those guys are building right now across the board on all three phases right now is we'll just continue to build on that and, again, take 1 week at a time.
Well, that's a win in the books for UTRGV, 3-0, taking down the Langston Lions. When we return, let's look ahead to the next game, Texas Wesleyan, the final non-conference game of the season. We talked to Coach Bush about what his expectations are for that non-conference game, and we'll take a peek ahead towards conference play just about 2 weeks away now when we come back on the UTRGV Coaches Show. Welcome back into the UTRGV Coaches Show, wrapping things up with head coach of the Vaqueros, Travis Bush. Coach, coming in week 4, final week of non-conference play. How does it feel now to be at the end of the non-conference schedule, rather?
It feels good. Feels good right now. So again, technically start the second quarter of the season, but like you said, last non-conference game, final tune-up. Again, our goal was to see if we want to be playing our best football in September 26th when we head to Southeast. So we're at 1 more week to keep improving on some things and see how good we can get.
And you mentioned that playing your best football by that time that you play Southeastern September 27th. Do you feel like the team's close to that? You feel like when you look at this group, they're close to where you want them to be heading into the conference season?
Definitely, obviously, record-wise, we're the best we could be right now. But again, the experience, a lot of things we hit, especially being on the road. Being able to come away with a road win, hit some adversity, and fight through that. So there's so many situations that we're getting here in these ball games. So definitely pleased with how we responded to things, and there's still a lot to improve on. Still a lot of things we got to clean up. Too many penalties last night in some certain situations that we've got to get cleaned up. Things that can come back and bite us in close big conference games. So again, 1 more week to clean some of that stuff up and see how good we can be.
We're going up against Texas Wesleyan this week, coming from the same conference as Langston. How similar do you think they'll be as opponents, being that they're from the same NAIA conference?
Little bit. Texas Wesleyan's pretty good. They're really good. They won that conference, went undefeated last year, and they're extremely solid again this year. They kind of got knocked off week 1, but came off a conference win last night. They're going to be well coached. They're going to fly around. They're going to play great defense. They're going to have good schemes on offense. So it's going to be a challenge. Definitely nothing this team needs to be looking forward to conference, but we've got to be focused. We've got to be locked in. We've got to have a great week of work, and again, attack this game the same way we've attacked every single game so far, and give it our best and try to be 1-0 at the end of the week.
Does anything change in terms of the approach for a game like this, knowing that the conference plays right around the corner, it's a week away, just trying to make sure that you guys are best prepared for obviously when the games really start to take a step up in terms of how much they matter and when the conference season starts? Yeah,
no, I mean, for us, every game matters, and you only get 12 opportunities as a team in a program, so we don't want to treat any opportunity any less than the other. It's our next game. That's all we can control. It's the same goal, same preparation, same planning, and play with that same level of intensity that we've been playing each week. So no, nothing. This is the focus right now. We're not even talking about conference. We're going to focus on Texas Wesleyan and try to be 1-0 at the end of the week.
Are there certain things that you want to challenge the team to take care of in this non-conference games? Things that you've seen over the course of the first 3 games that you feel like you want to see the team take another step in?
There's some execution pieces. I think we're doing a good job starting fast. We've come out start fast offensively, defensively as well. Continue to build on turnovers. If we can get some more turnovers, special teams as well. We made some plays there yesterday. So really, just main thing right now is clean up those penalties that could get us hurt down the road, and then really some third down conversions on offense that we feel like we could have converted last night.
Well, it must feel good to be able to stay at home. I think this is the only stretch of the season, if I'm not mistaken, where you have back-to-back home games. So it has to feel good for you to know that you can stay at home, play in front of the home fans, and also not have to worry about traveling for a week. Give the players a chance to almost get a little bit more rest before starting that first conference game on the road, one of the furthest trips away, and Southeastern. Yeah,
and you always love being at home. And tell you, the crowd, the atmosphere, that's like the 12th man for us, and it's a phenomenal atmosphere. Guys love it, and there's no issue with us getting started and coming out fired up when you're around that atmosphere. So excited to be at home, and can't wait to see it again.
It seemed like the home crowd helped you guys out a little bit last game. I mean, I know there were a couple of false starts early, everybody but the center on the 2 on the same drive. So Yeah, I'd say give the home crowd a little bit of credit for that, for creating a hostile environment for the offense to operate in.
No doubt, no doubt, and it's we talk about it. It's a complete team win, and we win everybody. It's not just the guys on the field. It's everybody in those seats, the student section, it's the band. It's everybody yelling and screaming, being loud when they need to, and then really just the encouragement behind us, behind our guys, and all the enthusiasm that they bring every down of the whole game. And for the whole guys, the students that stayed the entire night last night, were there at the end of the game. Hats off to them. We appreciate all the support.
Well, next week we'll start touching on conference play a little bit more and really take a look at Southeastern, that first conference opponent.
Yep. And we got, again, focus on this week, but we know the road ahead of us once we get into the conference. It's a competitive conference. It's tough. And, it's going to be kind of like playing in the NFC East, man. You got to get ready to play every week. It's going to be physical battles. So, again, we got to continue to tune up this week and be ready to roll.
Well, Coach Bush, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week. Good luck against Texas Wesleyan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Bush. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the UTRGV Coaches Show. We'll see you next week.